Today we're going to discuss traditional Finnish axes, which have gained in popularity during the last couple of years. Currently there's only one manufacturer that makes axes which are available for larger public. That is the Roselli Axe or Billnäs hatchet, which has been made by the Smith Heimo Roselli, and this has been in production for maybe 10 years already. And there's a wide market for it. So, to my understanding, this axe is available pretty much all around the world, in the USA, Canada, England, France, you name it. People who are probably, when they think of Finnish axes, this is now what most bushcrafters today would see as a Finnish axe, and it does look very different from any other commercially available traditional axes. If you, for instance, compare it with the Gränsfors Bruks axe, this is the Gränsfors Bruks small Billnäs axe, so you can see that there's a very considerable style difference. For instance, there's a prominent beard on the Roselli axe, as well as a long collar extending from the eye, which enables the axe to really sit snugly on the shaft, which is a very different feature from this more Americanized style Gränsfors hatchet. There is also another axe which is being used by especially bushcrafters, hunters and such in Finland, and that is the Billnäs 12 axe. The Billnäs 12 is not less known to the public outside of Finland, as this axe hasn't been manufactured since the 1960s. So the only axes which are currently available in Finland are second-hand axes, which you can scavenge in some second-hand shops or yard sales, etc. So sadly you won't be able to find anyone who manufactures these things anymore. But luckily for us in Finland, this was a very popular axe type, and there was a whole lot of axes being made. So there's still some good axes made available for a reasonable price, but you have to look for them. And but this axe type was not exclusive to Billnäs Bruk. There were also two other forges which made this axe model. The Kellokoski forge and the Strömfors forge also made these axes. So and they're almost identical. There's very little difference between the between the 12s made by the different forges. So someone who's not really into these axes won't really see the difference immediately. In fact, this axe, I think it's made by this is actually, I think, made by Billnäs Bruk, and it's one of my favorites, which I carry around quite a lot. Very versatile axe. This Gränsfors Bruk's smallest Billnäs axe, I think it's only weighs about 600 grams, 650 grams in total, so it's a really small axe. And this Roselli axe, which is currently available in two different sizes. Well, it's the same size of the head, but the shaft is either a little bit shorter or then this longer model which we have here. And this axe should weigh around 850 grams if I'm correct. So these both axes should be considered small axes, or just about any axe which is less than a kilogram in weight is, in my opinion, a small axe. And it's just, as a small axe, it has some limitations to what you can do with it. Whereas this Billnäs axe, the axe head on this is the smallest of the Billnäs 12 line. The Billnäs axes were scaled in three different sizes in 1, 2 and 3. So this is the Billnäs 12 size 3, which is the smallest of the line, whereas the Billnäs 1 would be the biggest. And this one weighs around 1.3 kilograms, just the head. So we have quite a lot of metal right here. So this axe is, it's a small axe when you do a size comparison, but when you do a weight comparison, then you realize that this is actually a really big axe for its small size. So we have to keep that in mind when we are going further afield to test these two out, namely the Roselli Axe and the Billnäs. I'm going to take these two axes and place them on the table next to a few other axes, so we can do a historical comparison with these axes to other traditional Finnish axes. As you can see, I've placed the Roselli Axe in the left corner of the table next to some very old axes. These three axes are part of the Pargas local history museum collections, and they are from the late 18th, early 19th centuries. So, and these are what you would call carpentry axes, or carpentry bila axes. As you can see, these axes have a beard, a wide blade, and they're made predominantly for hewing purposes. So this is a axe which is designed for carving and wood reduction mainly. If we take an even closer look at this, we'll see how these are designed. This is a very beautiful axe, and trying to angle it so you can see how beautiful it is. This is a really skillfully made carving axe. You can see that the blade has been decorated with some hammered decorative features, and when we look at the blade, we can see how this axe has been constructed. The blacksmith who made the axe, he has taken a piece of steel which has been hammered out, and he's folded it out around to make the eye, and folded back again, and then attempted to be welded, forge welded right here at the tip of the blade. So we can see that it's been quite laborious to make a hand bila like this. You see another axe head with a very long beard, made the same fashion. And if we start comparing the Roselli axe with the hand bila, we can immediately spot that there's a definite resemblance in style. There's even the small knob on this one. However, there's also some considerable differences which are a bit strange. For instance, when you look at the angle profile of the blade profile from the top of the axe, you can see that the thickness of this blade is very peculiar by comparison to that of a traditional bila. So this is a very modern modification made by Roselli himself, and you don't find this type of fat blade on any other traditional Finnish axes. So this is a very new feature. I think the angle is really wide here even, so it's much wider than on the other axes. If we even compare that with the large hewing axe from the early 20th century, we can see that this hewing axe, which is essentially made just to hew off logs, even that blade doesn't have the same wide profile as the Roselli has. But there's a vast array of other axes. Here's my axe next to a other 12s. These two 12s, this is the 12.3, same as this one, and this is the 12.2, which is the mid-sized version of it, and this is the 12.1, which is the biggest of the lot. So there's approximately 150 grams weight difference, which increases as the figure becomes smaller. These two have been mainly used for logging, so cutting down trees, whereas these were used mainly for branching. So often a lumberjack would be carrying two axes afield, the bigger 12.1 for cutting down the tree, and the smaller 12.3 with a little bit shorter shaft to debranch the timber once it was felled. Over here we have this is a similar axe to the 12.2, but this has been made by a blacksmith somewhere. So this is not made in a forge, or possibly it's made by the Strömfors forge. I'm not sure because it has a label on it. As you can see, it's a really big, heavy, wide-bladed axe, which is very well suited for cutting down trees and wood. And even if we at this point take the Roselli axe and compare the cutting profile of this axe to a Billnäs 12.3, we can see that we are, there's a really big difference to the profile. Typically a Finnish multi-purpose axe would be grinded down in a angle bevel of maybe 30 degrees, but my guess is that this is around 45. So this axe is the last traditionally inspired axe made by the Billnäs Bruk company before they became part of the current Fiskars company. So this is the last Billnäs axe in production, and this type of axes were made in the 70s and 80s. And you can see that this was a modernized version of the 12, essentially. There's a lot of resemblance. You still have the hammer pommel here, however it's more delicately styled. It's not as not as pronounced as on the old model. And this axe is still really a very popular and well working axe, and there's really good steel in it, so you can get a nice cutting blade made of it. And you can see it still has the same thickness to the blade approximately. It's still a very sturdy axe. The only difference was when this axe was made is that you can see the handle. This is the original handle. It's taken a few abusing hits, but it's still up and working. But what they did was back in the 70s that they stopped using wedges for attaching the axe heads. They replaced it with some epoxy glue. Crafts axes or craftsbilas, handbilas were not used in the woods because they were not suited for the task. This wide blade was strictly for hewing and carving, and in fact if you were to take a axe like this into the wood and attempt to cut down trees, eventually you would break the axe, because back then the quality of steel wasn't that good, so an axe with a long beard like this, if you just hit it a few times too hard, the beard would just crack right off. So these axes were really never brought into the woods. So given this background, it was a very bold move by Roselli to copy the overall design of an old carpentry axe and try to make this design to fit a new purpose, which is to work well in a bushcraft setting where you have to use the axe for very versatile purposes. So I'm a bit excited of how this axe will perform by comparison to the Billnäs 12, which is my current favorite. So we'll see to see what's gonna happen when we take this afield and try it out. So my intention today is to take these two Finnish axes, the Billnäs 12-3 and the Roselli Wilderness Axe, for a small test drive into the woods and compare them and see how they perform. Given that this Roselli axe is a very, it's a very expensive axe. It's maybe 100, I think it's like 119 euros if you want to buy one new. So I kind of gonna put this really through the ringer and see what it actually can perform for that price. Because by comparison, this axe head, I think I bought this for maybe, I think it was 10 euros, just the axe head, and then I added the shaft myself, so it didn't really cost me much. Only a little bit of time to sharpen it and clean it up. Whereas this axe is, very expensive by comparison, so obviously I would like to see how they fare up. So I'm just gonna pack this up and head for the woods. I've arrived at the clearing. There's been some logging done here, and there's still some small diameter trees lying crisscross on the forest floor, and here's a young pine which has been blown over by the wind, and it's been laying there for a couple of years, and it's nice and dry, and it'll make some excellent firewood. Now I just have to dig out my two axes and see how these two compare when I take on this small pine trunk here. Let's see how it goes. Now it's time for the Billnäs. This tree trunk was a bit more fresh than I expected, but nevertheless it'll still work fine for the purpose of this experiment. Let's go down. Now for the task of splitting these two logs. Let's see. It's a smaller one. Try the Roselli on that one.
See how it fares. Man. Let's try the tactics. So I set it like this. Let's put it that way. Oh yeah, that works much nicer. Yeah. The Roselli Axe seems to be unable to cut through the fibers on the laying tree. You have to chop at the ends, otherwise it just won't. You won't be able to get any splitting action done. This is just too wide, so this blade will efficiently hinder any penetration when you hit on the sides. You have to hit on the top of the wood. Let's see if we can get a split. Yeah, now we're doing it. Yeah. One more, yeah. Okay, we got almost a piece off. Bad side about doing it like this is that you get a lot of debris and stuff which will stick on to the wood. And as you can see, if you happen to get like a grain of sand or something, you hit the axe, manage to hit the grain of sand with the axe, it'll just make a nick on the head. So you have to be mindful of that when you're doing this in the field. Yeah. Getting there soon enough. Oh yeah. Getting stuff done, but it's not splitting yet. Oh, man, let's try hitting the middle. Oh yeah, now it's doing it. Ah, that's a struggle. Oh man. Ooh, got it. Finally. Ooh. Well, you can still split wood with this axe using this technique, but it just takes a while. Okay, where's the Billnäs? I'll try split some wood with that instead. Hold on. Let's see. This piece has less branches sticking out of it, but it's a bit bigger than the other one. We'll see how the Billnäs will fare. This one. Okay. Oh yeah. That's a spring for you. Okay, we're almost done here. Okay. Couple of clean hits and we gotta split. Oh. Man, this axe is bouncy. I can't get it to stick, but I'll just leave it like this. Head on further. Trees like these appear rotten, but you'd be surprised that there's a lot of some of these contain a lot of fat wood. Look and see if there's something we can use in our fire. See, yeah. This is the fat wood right there. Look. Yeah. See. It smells nice. Oh yeah. Stuff. Doing work like this is where the Billnäs axe is really at its best, because you can stick the blade underneath and just wedge it out. This because of this longer sleeve the axe is designed to withstand a lot of twisting and pushing, even sideways. So just grab a few pieces. I think this will do for me. Nice weather today. And I think it's time to take a look at the axes one more time, and I'll give you my opinion on them. Well, as it was clear that I was kind of biased when it came to axes, because I find that this, the Billnäs 12.3 is really a superb axe and has a long history of use, and there's just, you know, I just felt that nothing really compares to it. So I understand that I'm biased in that way, and you have to take that into consideration when contemplating on my opinions on small bushcraft axes or hatchets. Because the fact remains that if you have a big axe, you can do big things. If you have a small axe, you won't be able to do as big things as with a big axe. And I find that having a heavy headed axe like the Billnäs 12.3 with a short shaft to it, then it'll you know, it's a really nice compromise, because it's compact. You can carry it around in a backpack easily. And if you consider the Roselli, which weighs considerably less, about 850 grams, compared to this 1.5 kilograms, you know, there's almost double the difference in weight. Still, you know, that 700 grams is not really, you know, in my opinion, shouldn't be too much for anyone to carry. It's in my opinion, it's a very, you know, it's easy enough to carry. And when it comes to Roselli, well, overall it performs pretty nicely. Given that it's traditional shape, it's very, well, it's a kind of paradoxical axe, because it looks traditional, but it does have a lot of features to it which are clearly modern, and you don't find those features in any other similar axes. And you know, well, I do have some issues with longevity, as this axe is, you know, priced a bit over 100 euros currently. Then you would in a way expect the axe to have a long lifespan, and this is undoubtedly good steel, No, it won't wear too much, but you know, eventually you'll still have to sharpen the axe, and when you sharpen the axe you'll be reducing the blade back a bit. And I would like to know at what point do we reach a critical level with this, the blade reduction, given that this is really, you know, this beard here is really, it's not that thick, maybe just about 2 centimeters down here. What happens if it reduces half a centimeter or even a whole centimeter? What point does this become critical? At what point is this beard in danger of just cracking, splitting when you're hitting something real hard? So that's obviously a safety issue which you have to keep in mind. And also another issue with this axe is this sheath, which is really a nice quality sheath, but it just won't do it. It just doesn't work. Once you use this axe for a long time, this leather becomes more pliable, then it'll, you know, it won't hold onto the axe head at all. It will just slip off with ease. Right now I'm just pulling this as tight as I can. I'm at the second hole. There are 2 holes at the belt. I'm pulled on, and now, as you can see, it still just slips off. So be mindful of this, that this is really a poor solution to cover up a blade of this type. Oh, I think the water is boiling. Oh yeah, time for coffee.